Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Naomi, aka Nay, and this week's video is story time. And I wanted to share my healthcare story. So I'm gonna try and keep it as short as I possibly can, but it is a story, so it's gonna go on. So I suggest before we go in, you get yourself a cup of tea and you make sure that you are subscribed by pressing the button that's somewhere down there, and then pressing the button that's next to it, which is the notification bell, so you get notified every time I upload. But let's go straight into it. So I'm going to take you back to September last year, 2018. I think it was the 23rd. And it was very early on Sunday morning. It was probably about 4:30. I fell asleep. Oh, by the way, yes, this is a different setup. I am having a staycation in Lincoln, and it's been great. I've been here since, what's today? Saturday. I've been here since Thursday. The weather's been not that great today, but the weather yesterday and the day before was gorge. It's been lovely. It's not like London. It's not like London, and I know that I am definitely a spoiled city girl, because I mentioned it on my lives the other day. And also, if you're not following me on social media, then you need to do so. They will be linked below somewhere. But like I said on my lives, I was walking for probably about 2 hours, which is, yeah, a massive surprise because I hate exercise. But I walked, I got fresh air, and it was actually fresh. It was fresh. I was like, wow, what's that smell? It doesn't smell like, you know, petrol and disappointment like it does in London. But anyway, I'm in Lincoln, having a great time. It's been sort of it's been an experience. The reason why I came here was to do some business training, but that didn't pan out. But the plus side is that I have had some me time. And the thing is, the point I want to put across, first of all, is that you manifest everything, okay? You have to be careful of what you say and what you think. I said at the beginning of the week, oh, I really just need some time for myself. I got it. I got it. And it's been great. It has been great. But anyway, I'll be back to my normal lovely pink wall next week with some makeup, but I'm going to get into the story really quickly. So let's go back. We're going back to September 2018. I believe the date was the 23rd. And I was asleep. I woke up. I fell asleep in the chair, like in my sofa in my front room. I was watching telly the night before and fell asleep. And I remember looking at my phone, woke up and was like, it's like 4:30, I really should go to bed. And then I just like turned over and went back to sleep. And the first time I was fine. Then the second time, I woke up, and it was maybe about half an hour later, I woke up and was like, ow. Ow, 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 ow. This really hurts. This really hurts. And where it was hurting was right here in the center of my chest. How can I describe it? It was just like my chest was on fire. It was just this really, really, really sharp burning pain. And then I had pain in my hands all the way through to like this part of my arm. In both hands, all the way through my fingers, everywhere. And the pain in my hands and my arms was like really, it's like pins and needles, but just, it hurt, really. Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is really weird. So I just thought I was gonna sleep it off, because I was like half asleep as well. So I didn't really know what was going on. All I knew is that it hurt. So yeah, I decided to just go upstairs to my room and try and sleep it off. So this is what I did. I'm gonna act it out. Yeah, so got in the bed and went to lie down to go to sleep. I think I probably got about here. The pain in my chest just can I describe it? So it was already burning and felt quite sharp, but then it was like an extremely heavy. It was like someone dropped something on top, like something really heavy, like a sack of potatoes or something on top of my chest with this burning pain. And I just freaked out. I just didn't know what was going on. It was just so strange and bizarre, because it's like, wait, what's going on here? So the first thing I could think of was like, right, mum. My mum's room is just right next to mine, but because I was like really panicking and the pain in my chest was so severe, I couldn't really talk. I just called her, and she was like, Naomi, what's up? And all she could kind of hear was just me like sort of whimpering and crying. So she burst in my room. She's like, what's going on? I was like, oh, Mom, my chest really hurts. And she was like how, like where's it? I was like, oh, my chest and my arms. She was just, it's like, what is this? It's just crazy. So she called 111. Fast forward. We spoke to them on the phone, and then we drove down to the hospital because they said, okay, it's quite severe. I got asked this probably like the first and second day by so many people. So the people on the phone on 111, are you pregnant? No. Have you taken any drugs? No. Have you taken any drugs that are crack and cocaine? No. I got asked that so much. I was in A&E for most of the first day, the Sunday. So we got there at like sort of 6, 7 in the morning. And back then, that's when I had my sort of Shaka Khan glitter fever thing going on. And one of the nurses was like, oh, like she just made her mind up. She looked at me, and bearing in mind I fell asleep in the chair. I didn't take off my makeup. I know, please, I'm sorry. But yes, she was just trying to put two and two together. She's like, oh, you've been out, haven't you? And I was like, no, this is just how I look. So yeah, I think they all just assumed that I was just this like raver that was like cracking it up, but I really wasn't. Loads of blood tests, ECGs. An ECG is like where they stick these little stickers on you, and it like monitors your heart rate. So I had that. Then they put me into this little private room. I had like a few nurses come in. They gave me medication. I think they gave me codeine. Or something along those lines, because it was kind of strong. So by the time it kicked in, I was like, okay, I'm in pain, but it's not that bad. And I got asked like probably another 2-3 times if I'd taken anything, and what everyone kept on asking is whether I'd taken crack or cocaine, obviously because that accelerates your heart rate and blah blah blah. I was like, no. Are you pregnant? No. Like loads of other questions about your health. No, like I'm alright. So I thought I was okay. So yeah, I was quite drugged up, but the pain was there. But I was like, oh, okay. I was chilling in the room, and then fast forward again. If I go into like every single detail, we'll probably be here for about 2 hours. So I'm just trying to keep it brief. But this is where like the scary part kind of kicked in, where they moved me to like the real A&E. Like I was in the bougie bit of A&E before. I had my own private room. My mum what did she get me? It was something hot. I think it was like an egg sandwich or something. I love egg sandwiches. It was something like that. And like crisps. And I was like having the time of my life. I was like chilling, watching Netflix. I was like, oh, I'm in pain, but it's all right. And then they moved me, and I fell asleep in that room as well. So I woke up and was like, oh, okay, right, the pain's back. Ow. To the scary part of A&E. And this is where like people have had like accidents, really like severe, like, I don't know, all you can hear is like people screaming. It's loud. It wasn't the very nice cutesy room I had before. This was like, oh right, okay, what is going on here? The pain's back. It was still a bit woo-woo because the drugs were in my system, but the pain was back now. I was like, ow, okay, what's going on here? So they moved me, and one of the nurses said, okay, well, we think you might have a blood clot on your lung. I was like, okay, like, what? So I had to have a scan, but they had to wait for a specific doctor or specialist to come in. And the reason why now I'm just traumatized is because I had this blood thinner. All of the all the doctors, all the nurses, when they give you a blood test, they say, oh, it'll just be a sharp scratch. This really wasn't. It was the worst. The pain that I felt, because he just did it in one go, he just went boom. It really hurt, guys. It just really hurt. But there was the doctor who had seen me before, and then the dude that was doing, I don't know why I call him a dude, but the dude that was doing the scan, he was in there too, and my mum was opposite me as well. So I'm screaming and crying in pain. My mum's like, because, you know, she can see her baby's in pain, and then I feel bad because I've screamed and now she's upset, and like everyone's like, oh, apart from the dude that was giving me the thing, he was looking at me like, why are you crying? And I was looking at him like, are you mad? Like, can you not see that this hurt? I was so mad. I was like, no. By this time I was starting to get a bit frustrated, and I was like, yeah, what's going on? So I had the scan. Turns out I didn't have a blood clot on my lungs, thank God. So I was waiting in the horrible part of A&E for a little while. Then they said, okay, we're going to move you to the cardiac ward. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I was just like, everything was such a blur. And they wheeled me up. I couldn't even walk. The cardiac ward is, I think it's just like one floor above. No, I think it's actually on the same floor. You can walk. But they said, no, you can't walk. So they had to have a porter push me in a wheelchair. And I was like drugged up and annoyed and was like, ugh. So they got me there, and then when they put me in the cardiac ward, I looked around and was like, okay, no shade, but all of these women were slightly older. But yeah, I was looking around, was like, okay, this isn't good. Like, what's going on here? Had to wait a little while for one of the heart specialists to come. By this time it's quite late, so it's about sort of 8 going on to 9 in the evening now. I'm annoyed, I'm tired, I'm in pain, I'm just thinking, what's going on? I just want to go home. And they said, okay. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this because every time I do, it just sounds like gobbledygook, but I'm going to put it down here. So they thought I had, like, I'm not going to try and say it. So yeah, they thought I had that, and then it was like, raw, okay, this is kind of serious. But I was so determined because it was the Sunday, and I had the Sunday and the Monday off, and I was like, I want to go home. Like, this is my day off. I've got stuff to do. Especially on the Monday, I had my whole Monday planned out. I was gonna tidy up. I was gonna go to the nail shop. I had plans. It's like, you're not going anywhere. And I was like, my mum had to pack me some clothes. She went home, packed me some clothes, and came back. And then, like, when she was going, I was like, Mummy, please don't leave me. I don't want to stay here. She's like, sorry, gotta go. But she came back the next morning. That's when they diagnosed me, and they diagnosed me with pericarditis and myocarditis, which is basically inflammation of the heart. So you've got your heart, and then so your heart's got like it's got a protective sac around it, and that's what was inflamed, and that's what was like expanding and causing the pain in my chest. They didn't know what was going on with my hands and my arms, and they didn't actually really care. They were just more concerned that I was a young woman who was having this severe pain, who's like amongst, you know, Ethel and, sorry, but I think one of them actually was called Ethel. But the squad, like, they're all old, and they've got, I'm not being ageist, but they've all got their issues, and there's just little old me, and they're like, what's wrong with you, you know? So the doctors were very concerned. So during my stay in the hospital, several blood tests and ECGs. I had an echo scan where they do kind of like a sonogram of the, I think sonogram, is that the right word? I don't know. Of the heart to see what it looks like. And they said it looked okay. But I was in there for 5 days just so they could like monitor me. I was taking medication. I think it might have been like the 3rd night. And bear in mind, every night I cried. Every night I cried because I was like, what's going on? It was so scary. I was like, here in this hospital with all these sick people. I'm sick. Part of me was being in denial as well. I didn't want to admit that I was sick, but it was like, yeah, Naomi, you're sick. Like, what's going on? And I remember every night I cried. I'd call my mom, but like, I just want to come home. And like, for those of you who don't know, me and my mom are like that. Like, we're just one in the same. So being apart from her was just like, oh God. She came and saw me every day though. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard. And like, I think it was night 3. I was in so much pain, and because like the demo I did before, I wasn't able to lie back to go to sleep, so I had to sleep upright with like the hospital beds, so I barely slept. I was always tired, and I remember I was in so much pain. So they give you medication like 3 or 4 times during the day to monitor, like to sort of subside the pain. And it just that night, that day, it just wasn't working. And like they give you naproxen, they gave me naproxen and codeine, which just made me feel so sick. So I was sick. I wasn't really eating because the food wasn't that great. But yeah, I think the 3rd night I was in so much pain, hands, arms, but it was mainly my chest was hurting so much that they had to give me morphine. It was like almost like an out-of-body experience having that. It was crazy. Like, I just felt like I wasn't myself. I was like, oh my God, I have no control over my body whatsoever, because it's just so strong. But the pain was that bad. I couldn't move around a lot. The only times that I really was able to move was just to kind of go to the loo, and I had to keep my movements quite minimal. So I couldn't have a shower. They wouldn't let me because they're like, you can't move like your chest up like that. So it was very gross. When I came into the cardiac ward, they had this heart monitor, which sort of looked like an old Game Boy. You know the old Game Boys that were like rectangular and grey? It was like that, and had wires coming out of it with these cylinders that was like here, 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 and here. And they were like stuck to me like glue. And like by the time the 3rd day came along, like I'm sweaty and I can't really wash properly. It was gross. And like, you know, I like to be glamorous, and that was the furthest I was, furthest away from glamorous I could get. So yes, I was in hospital for 5 days. They let me go in the end, and I felt like I just ended a jail sentence. I was like, yes, I'm free. It's like, okay, so can I go back to work now? And they were like, no, you're not going back to work. Like, you're actually really sick. And I was like, nah, yeah. They said I had to take a specific medication called colchicine, which is usually prescribed for gout, but sometimes it can like be good for reducing inflammation in your heart and stuff like that. So I had to take that. That did nothing. Plus I had to take that plus all of the paracetamol and naproxen and all these other strong painkillers. So I spent most of the time being drugged up. And it was only really until I had a MRI, and I read like my doctor's notes and did some research myself, and was like, oh wow, I'm actually really sick. I think two or three MRIs before for my back. I've had some back issues in the past. Having an MRI for your back compared to having it for your heart, your chest, completely different. The procedure's the same. You still go in the tube, but like with the ones I've had previously, it was like you just go in, you can just not chill, like try to not have a panic attack and listen to Ollie Murs and hope for the best. This was completely different. I was in there for absolutely ages. They had to put like cannula in me, and I have really tricky veins as well, so they'd spent about 45 minutes trying to find a vein to stick it in, which is like already horrible. And then I had to have this massive plate that went on top of my chest. I'm in this, so like, okay, use the bottle. I'm in this tube, like the water is me, and then like imagine there's this thing on top of my chest, which is like a camera, and that's taking pictures of my heart and everything. So I had that, went back and forth to the doctors to get sick notes because I couldn't go back to work. I couldn't be around my friends. It was just so depressing, and it was hard to just, I'm happy that I had my mom was there quite a bit, because if not, I think it would have probably just broke me, because every time if I stopped to really think about the situation, I would just cry, and it would just get me so depressed, because it was like, why is this sorry. Why is this thing happening to me, and why am I in so much pain? It just hurt. I couldn't go to work with my main job. Sorry. Very emotional. With my main job, I had quite a lot of responsibility as well. So like my goal was, I just want to get back to work and do my job. Like there's people counting on me. It was just horrible. It was just horrible. I was in so much pain. But I was, I just had to get used to it. I couldn't really lie down to go to sleep for probably about a couple of months, about 2 months, to sleep with like a wedge pillow, uncomfortable, didn't really sleep much. I was bored, so bored, I couldn't really do anything, because they said like you've just got to limit your movements and just chill out. And for those of you that know me, I don't really like to chill out. I'm just constant, I'm go. It was horrible. It was just horrible. But I am thankful for it, because it gave me some time to really, really look at myself. And I would not be the person that I am now if I had not gone through that, because I had to, my life just kind of, it was like, I don't really know how to describe it. It was like, this is your life, and I had to really, really look at myself. And there was a lot of things that I didn't have a choice. Where I was working, I had 2 jobs, I was busy. There was loads of stuff going on mentally, but I just kind of pushed it aside. And where I had no other choice but to just sit still and not do anything, I had to just sit down and just accept what was going on. And there were some things that I realized that were going on in my life, and I thought, raw, this is what it is. And I had to really take the time to think, think about my life and think about, how can I change as a person. And that time alone, I had to sort of sit down, and I looked at where I was in my life, what were the things, the bad things, and what were the good things. And like this, I think, is sort of this is where my self-love journey really began, because I had to, I listed some things, and I thought, okay, what am I? Who am I? And it was hard. It was hard because I had to face the harsh reality of the person that I was at the moment, and the person I didn't really like. I hated myself. I actually just hated myself. It was like these things as well. I just felt like, I deserve it. I'm not a very nice person. Maybe this is why I got sick, because I'm this. But I had to kind of cut that out and was like, you're just going to be like this forever. Also as well, because I was so bored. I was like looking through my phone and... yeah, that's the kind of person I am. I'm funny. I know I'm funny. I am funny. I think I'm a comedian. I think I am actually the funniest person I know. Harsh reality is I thought I was so funny that I thought I could do stand-up at one point, and then like people were like, no, you can't do that. But I know that I'm funny. I am fun. I have a really lovely, bright personality. And eventually one of my employers at the main job that I was at, they said, we're gonna have to let you go because you're sick. And because of like my role, they needed someone to really kind of take care of the shop, and I wasn't doing that, and they had to let me go. And I was like, But because of the work that I was doing on myself, I was shocked when they said it. I kind of had an idea that it was a possibility, but when it did happen, it was like, oh, ouch. But I had to say, okay. And I was doing, self-work at home. I was in therapy as well. So I was getting stronger and stronger as a person. But this whole health scare has led me to where I am now. So yeah, they had to end my employment. I never went back to work. So the last day I worked at that place was I think the 22nd of September, and I never made it back. And they ended my employment on, I think it was the 16th of December. And this is how I know that, like, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but I believe there is a God, and I believe that God looks out for me and always works. That everything always works out for me, and God is always looking out for me, because they ended my employment, and the day that happened, the same day I signed 2 accounts for my social media business. I was like, whoa, did we do this? How did this happen? I was like, and it has been amazing. If this heart thing didn't happen, my life would be completely different. I would not be where I am now without it. Just to think about how far I have come. It's a lot. It is really a lot. But I want to try and keep this quite brief. The message that I kind of want to put across to everyone. I feel like I haven't shared enough of the story, so I think I might do a part 2. But what I really wanted to just put across to everyone is just don't wait. Don't wait. If you think something, like, you manifest everything, right? So if bad stuff is happening to you and you just keep thinking of bad stuff, you're depressed. Oh, I'm depressed. I'm just depressed. Depressing things are gonna happen. It's just a vicious cycle, you know. Like, one negative thought can just trigger so many others, and then you're just stuck. And thank God I was able to get out of it. But it took a whole heart condition to do that. I don't want that for anyone else. It's the reason I don't just like share this to like, oh yeah, I was sick. No, I'm sharing this for a reason, and the reason is, what I'm trying to put across is, don't wait. Don't wait for something to happen, because I had spent a lot of time thinking, oh yeah, you know, like, one day I'm just gonna be happy, you know, and I'm gonna have money, and it's all just gonna work out, it's all just gonna fall in my lap. It doesn't. It really doesn't, I'm afraid. Things get better, but it has to. You have to want it for yourself, and then you have to implement change. And what I'm just trying to say is, don't wait. It's hard. It's hard. Step out. Like me, all of this stuff is just, it's been so uncomfortable physically and mentally. I lost my job. Like, it was hard. I lost my job. I wasn't able to go back to work, and I lost my job. I was like, crap. Wow. Did it get me down? Yes. But it opened up so many other opportunities for me. Like, now, I have so much more freedom. I loved my, like, what I was doing, and I loved the people, but overall I wasn't very happy. And I was able to get out of it. If I pushed myself to go back, which I was doing, I was like, yeah, no, I'll be back next week, I promise, I'll be back. More time, I'm just in so much pain, but I was just so determined to go back, to like please everyone. Sometimes you're not going to please everyone. Like, I know with me, where I am now, I can see it, there's people that don't talk to me anymore, and I have to be like, okay, that's all right. Because where I'm going, you can't always take those people with you, and I'm okay with that. Because I know where I want to go, and that is what I would love for you, for someone out there. Don't wait. If you don't like your job, find another one. Start a business. I might sound harsh, but honestly, like, when you start taking action and you start doing things, doors open up for you. You know, you can't just wait for stuff to happen. It just doesn't really work that way. So don't just feel like, you know, the world's against you and the world's a horrible place. The world can be a lovely place, but you have to change your mindset. It was also just the love and support that I had from everyone, from being sick. so many people out there like praying for me. Every day, like there'd be someone messaging, how are you doing, what's the update? And yeah, that love and support really carried me through. If I didn't have that, telling you, it would have just gone down. And I am really grateful to everyone that has shown their support in one way or another, if it's praying, sending a text, calling. I got some really nice gifts as well. Gifts and cards. Even just people that are checking up on me now. You know, sometimes the pain, it's not that bad now. And there are days where I just don't have, and it can be a day or a week or something where I don't have any flare-ups at all. Because even like someone I didn't see for a little while, and they was like, oh, how are you? Because I went on holiday a few months ago, and they was like, oh, how was you? And I was like, wait, what? Oh yeah, that. And I was like, yes. So yes, I am a lot better. I don't know, yeah, I'm gonna do a part 2 because I feel like I've like missed a chunk, but I am a lot better physically, mentally, so much better. But yes, I'm gonna go, but I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe and press the little bell, get notified, and if you could share this video, and also leave in the comments something that you have learned and something that you have taken away, and also if you have any questions about like my health story or self-love or anything like that. This channel is about love and empowerment and to inspire, and also some glam stuff as well. So I will be doing a makeup video next week, but until then, stay blessed, stay safe, and love, and I'll see you next week. Bye.